Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and a very good morning to you all. Wonderful day to be here talking to our premium scientists and researchers, and we are very grateful to Madam Honorable Minister Dr. Yasmin Sahiba for gracing this occasion. And we have excellent researchers like Sheila and Etisham and our friends from Germany and London and all the places. Very warm welcome to you all. I hope you all have a tremendous conference and symposium, and we can come up with concrete proposals and concrete way forward. I think that is what is needed for this country, the way forward. We seem to have a clouded view right now, but I'm hoping that this clouded view will clear out pretty soon. COMSATS University, you all know, is a relatively young university. We are still in our teens. We are 19-year-old this year, and we've come a long way. Although we have a somewhat rowdy teen population, but they are young, and hopefully they'll be able to do a lot more for this country. We have excelled as far as research and innovation is concerned. We became the first university in Pakistan to cross 1,000 impact factor journal papers in a year. And then we became the first one to cross 1,500, the first one to cross 2,000 in the year 2016, and the year 2017, in the year 2018, we crossed 2,000 to become the first university in Pakistan to publish more than 2,300 publications in impact factor journals. This is in a year when the whole of Pakistan had published about 20,000 impact factor journal papers. Remember, HEC is a new phenomenon also, and this whole research gambit is relatively new in Pakistan. Before HEC, which was formed in the year 2000, the whole of Pakistan was publishing only 855 journal articles in a year. And last year, like I mentioned, more than 20,000. I did a rough calculation for Professor Atar Rahman of per capita, and per capita we have crossed India because India's population is much greater, although they publish about 90,000 impact factor journal papers. But per capita, we are much beyond India currently. For research, we have, like I mentioned, we have done relatively well. For teaching also, when I took charge about 3 odd years back, I'm not a very strong believer of podium teaching, of one person getting up and doing a unilateral delivery of lecture material and all that. I think those days are gone when that was an effective mode of teaching. We've all gone through it, but I think new modes of teaching need to be brought in. So we moved on to a hybrid mode of teaching, where certain courses we brought into an online flipped classroom mode of teaching, where students go and watch the star professor's lectures, and then they come online in discussion room and blackboards and all these innovative things that we have developed ourselves, and they discuss and clarify their concepts and everything. So relatively well we've been doing in teaching also, although we still need to improve some of our teaching parameters. However, ranking, when you look at the ranking, we do, mashallah, very well. We are in the top 5 universities in the country. Shanghai ranking last year, we were number 1 in Pakistan. Last year, Time Higher Education, we were number 1 in Pakistan. This year, we have dropped a little bit to number 2. QS ranking, we're in the top 5 universities of Pakistan. So this relatively young university has progressed a lot. We have 7 campuses, 38,000 students. I have the largest number of PhD faculty in the country, around 1,100. Which the whole of country used to have about 2,000 PhD faculty. So it's a long way that we have come. But a few years back, we realized that, all right, research per se is good, basic research is good, but how does it impact the society? And we need to come up with solutions which will be, viable solutions for the society, be it patient-driven, be it other-driven or whatever. So we started this initiative with the help of Professor Etisham at IRCBM, which is working on biomedical material, which is detailed quite a bit. I'm not going to go into that. And then Sheila joined our bandwagon, and we've been only going up since then. 3 of the products we will be bringing in the market in this coming year, inshallah. Not just Pakistan, we are talking about whole of Southeast Asia, where some of our products are going to be launched with collaboration with international venture capitalists and companies. One problem which Etisham and Sheila also kept mentioning is of startups. I, as a university also, I cannot build an equity in my startups. I think that is very, very important because we have a lot of startups coming out of COMSAT. In Islamabad alone, I have an incubator, and currently I have 28 companies working in that incubator. 48 have graduated out of that incubator. And their annual, turnover is about 500 million, ₹500 million annual turnover. These are just youngsters, who have just formed their spin-off companies and all that. That is where our future is, entrepreneurship and startup companies and all that. I think that is the future Pakistan that you are starting to see emerging out of this cloudy vision that I talked about earlier. So I've always asked the government that first of all we need to facilitate these startups. There are absolutely no laws existing in the country right now, and our entrepreneurship in the country is one of the largest growing in the world right now. And the problem with that is that most of our entrepreneurs, they are primarily in IT. They are not bringing the money into the country because of all these laws and regulations and rules and regulations. They are doing a business of $4 billion right now per year, but $3 billion they're parking in Southeast, in the Middle East and all those other places, and only $1 billion is coming into the country. I talked to a few of my startups, and they say we are afraid to bring money into the country because then the CBR is going to tax us, and the tax lawyers and everybody, FBR, is going to come after us, and all these fears that they have. I think we need, as a nation, we need to alleviate this fear. I can assure you in the next 5 years, this business of $1 billion will jump to $10 billion if we bring in soft laws and tax breaks for these companies. And tax breaks for the university also. Ma'am, I'm sure you don't know this, but universities are not allowed to do commercial business. I always say कि भाई हमें शादी घर नहीं खोलने, हमने अपनी जो knowledge build की है, उस पे हमने अपना business करना है. But we are not allowed. If I run any business, just to give you an example, NTS is one of our largest spin-off company, but I can't get any money from that because the Auditor General says it's a commercial business and you can't be involved in that. Man, the whole world, the whole universities, I was a postdoc at Oxford University, and my professor had his own company. He was, by the way, he was Ed Southern, the famous guy who invented Southern blotting and then the DNA chip and so on and so forth. And he had his own company formed while he was a professor at the university. If we do not allow that, it will be very difficult for us to progress. We have excellent researchers like Yar and Akif and Akhtar. Unfortunately, we lost Sarmad, who was a really good dentist and who was working on very good initiatives, but he was choked by this system, and that is why he left us and he is in his private business right now. So we need to bring in soft laws, and we need to bring in, things that will facilitate these researchers. Right now is the time. There is always a time and a place for everything. I think for entrepreneurs and new businesses and innovative materials and everything, right now is the time. I remember in the 90s, I was in KRL in Islamabad at that time, and we were working with Professor Ayub Umayya. He was a neurosurgeon. Unfortunately, he's passed away. May his soul rest in peace. And we were working on use of stem cells in Makala Matata, whose spinal cord had been injured. And we were working to see if the spinal cord be regenerated. And we were using commercial, obviously, stem cells, and we were passaging them, and we were, using different things to differentiate them into nerve cells. But we were facing a lot of difficulties, and those nerve cells would not stably implant into the spinal cord of the severed spinal cord of the monkey. Right now, using stem cells from your own fat cells, Professor Mahmoud Baidoun, who's an Egyptian working at Mayo Clinic, he extracted those stem cells and he used it in a quadriplegic individual, and that regenerated his nerves. So the concept had been around for a long time, We were talking and doing experiments in it in the 90s also, but now was the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought everything together, and that experiment is a success now with the newer technologies and everything. So I always think that, there's a time and place for everything, and we can't sometimes see that why our experiments fail, and I always used to be disappointed when we couldn't grow the nerve cell properly in the lab, but now was the place, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had assigned somebody to do this. So, like Surah Rahman says also, God has put everything in a balance. And you can't go outside those balance, and you can't go outside those laws. So we have to restrict ourselves within those laws in order to address our questions and all that. So in the end, thank you everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful stay over here and a wonderful symposium. This is a vibrant country, and I'm sure we'll see time very soon where most of these problems will be taken care of, and we will be doing really, really innovative work, which we are already doing, but we are just not able to, capitalize on it because of the restrictions of the laws and all that. So, madam, thank you again, once again, for coming to our symposium, and we hope we'll have your support in all these initiatives that we are trying to bring at COMSATS University, and also Pakistan. We are not standing alone. We are bringing in a lot of other universities as partner also. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Allah Hafiz.